Hey guys, Allie here. I just wanted to take a quick second before we get into it and tell you about our new sponsor, Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor yet, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. And first things first, it's totally free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, and they do all the distribution work for you. So your podcast can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to podcasts, and you don't have to do any of the work. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's truly everything you need to make a podcast in just one place. So if you are thinking about making a podcast, download Anchor or go to anchor.fm to get started today. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Newswave, your weekly recap of all the news you need to know and the news you don't. I'm Allie.
I'm Andrew.
This is episode 9, part 2.
Take 2.
We originally recorded yesterday
Saturday.
Yeah, on Saturday while we were in Ocean City, and everything was fine. We were at like 45 minutes.
We were done. We were done with all our actual segments.
Yeah, and like
we were just kind of shooting the shit.
Yeah, and then we went to stop recording, and the app wasn't even open anymore, and we've tried and tried, but the audio is just corrupted.
Speaking of corrupt, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so we are doing our stories again, so if it sounds less spontaneous, it's because we've truly already had this conversation. But the good news is some of our stories had some developments, like literally as we were recording yesterday, and now those can be included. So I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, our first sober episode.
Yeah, and I'm hungover, so if I don't sound as my cheery, normal self, that is why I'm struggling.
It's cool. I had to drive 3 hours. She had to sit there and fall asleep. So
I only fell asleep for like maybe 20 minutes. But, yeah.
What are you drinking right now?
I am drinking a Dunkin' Donuts coffee like the true Massachusetts girl I am.
Classic.
It is a medium cold brew with 2 shots of mocha. And it's delicious. And it's only like 2 to 3 points on Weight Watchers.
Seems a little watery today. Just tried it.
Yeah, I think it's like so muggy out. Like the ice started melting like the second I went outside. But
not bad.
It's
not
good.
Bad, though.
I should be drinking water because I feel like trash.
Yeah. No.
But we were in Ocean City, and they have this little bagel shop next to where we were staying called Schmegel's Bagels. And guys, it was so good. We got it twice. We got it yesterday and this morning before we left. We left super early.
Yeah.
It's only like 11, and we left. We are already home.
Right.
It's like a 3-hour drive.
All right, well.
All right, let's have a repeat convo. Do you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. Now I'm paranoid. So, okay, go ahead.
All right, we're still with it. All right, so my first story for this week, it's a story that broke this weekend, starting on Friday, and it's kind of continuously developed. I just lost my page. Hold on. Anyways, so President Trump has, as of now, fired the prosecutor of the Southern District of New York.
Right. And we discussed in length yesterday that the Southern District of New York has like a lot of control.
Yeah, it's the most important federal district. So the entire country is divided up into federal districts, each one with its own district attorney,
and
just like a city would.
That's where like court cases happen if for crime in that city or
that
right,
district. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So that's why it's important.
Right. The Southern District of New York is important because that's where Wall Street is. That's where a lot of counterterrorism stuff happens.
Yep. 9/11 was there.
9/11 investigation, that kind of stuff was through that office. The all the New York mob crime family is through there. Everything comes from the Southern District of New York.
They fired the Attorney General.
Yes, the person
who is one of the biggest people when it comes to
right. He's the head of the office, so he has assistant district attorneys under him,
right,
that prosecute cases.
But like in Minnesota, Keith Ellison is the Attorney General.
The state's Attorney General.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So it's a big job.
Very important job. One of the most important jobs.
You get selected. You have to be like approved, right?
You have to be appointed by the president and approved by the Senate.
Okay. So at one point he was approved by Trump, or was he already in before Trump?
I think he might have been there before.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if he personally appointed him.
Okay, either way, he's been fired.
Right, he has been fired. So this is the reason why this is so corrupt are the investigations that are probably currently going on. And we say probably because they don't tell every investigation until it's ready to be published.
So when we had this story yesterday, he wasn't yet fired.
He was asked to resign. Well,
so let's tell it backwards. So before the development had come out that he had actually been fired, we were reporting on the fact that who said he had resigned when he hadn't.
The Attorney General of the United States, Bill Barr.
So the guy in charge of all the attorney generals.
In charge of all attorney generals for the federal
made an announcement saying
he was resigning.
What's his name?
His name is Jeffrey Berman.
Saying Jeffrey Berman is resigning as Attorney General of the district
of the Southern
District of New York, and then Jeffrey, is that his name?
Yes. Berman then later put out a statement that said, "I am in no capacity resigning or quitting from my job. I will be replaced when a Senate approved replacement is selected.
Until then, our investigations are ongoing." And before that statement, we had no idea of what investigations. So I feel like he put that in there to be like, I'm letting the people know I'm investigating.
Right. And some of the things his office is probably investigating are, first off, any financial, Deutsche Bank for one, which is a bank that the president's been connected to.
That he owes money, right?
It's believed that he owes money to.
Right.
One I forgot about was Rudy Giuliani.
I've heard his name. He's a bad guy too.
He was the mayor of New York at one point. He is kind of just like a political hack now.
Yeah.
He calls himself the president's personal lawyer, but two people he was involved with were brought up on campaign finance charges.
Yeah, they're just all corrupt.
Yeah, and he was also he was center in the Ukraine investigation.
Right.
So that comes up again, right? Yeah. A lot of the Mueller investigation stuff was out of there. And something else we brought up yesterday was Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in the Southern District and held in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah.
So any investigation that stems from them raiding his house would probably be coming out of that office. And they've had a long relation. The president and Epstein had a long relationship. So
when we were reporting yesterday, it was kind of like this guy being like Berman, right?
Berman, yep.
Saying, "Fuck you! I'm not resigning.
Right.
You're gonna have to fire me. I'm continuing my job and this investigation until you fire me." And then, literally the second we stopped recording, it came out that they had fired him.
Yes, but one of the developments is that it has kind of backfired on the president and Attorney General Barr.
Well, it looks shady as fuck.
It does look shady as fuck. But what happened was the person they wanted to replace Berman with, they're no longer going to replace him with that person, and they're going to replace him with the current, with Berman's number 2 person.
Mm.
So instead of putting in someone who's like a complete shill that had no he had no experience as a prosecutor, they're now going with this other person who's already, I think, been confirmed because of their position.
Yeah.
So
does that put a kink in their plans, or is this better for them? Because I can't tell.
The president?
Yeah.
I think it's a lot worse because instead of hand-picking the person,
it's just it's almost like just a regular promotion.
It's like chain of command now.
Oh.
The head person's gone. The second in charge is now the first in charge.
Yeah, I didn't know if the second in charge was just like a protege of the guy existing now.
Right. They likely have a good relationship, or they, at least see someone eye to eye.
Yeah, but you can have a good relationship because you're professional and still fucking hate their guts behind their back.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Because I know plenty of people in jobs I've had that it's all's hunky-dory at work because I'm professional and I'm not dumb, but I'm not here for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that is true. So at the very least, they don't have their hand-picked person.
Well, that's good.
Being selected.
Which I don't even, this is another thing of, the pardon that I have a problem with, too much control. You have too much power. If you can just hand-pick your friends. It would be like me being president and being like, okay, Karen's gonna be VP, and, you know what I mean?
Well, for a position like vice president, it's not that big of a deal. because it's like whatever you.
No, I
you get
know,
this
but like
statute.
other important.
For a prosecutor who's applying the law,
Right, you can't have someone that it's in the president's pocket. Like,
right,
it has to be like a totally
nonpartisan, unbiased.
Yeah,
yes. That's what, in theory, that's what they're supposed to be. But because of how like just politics works, we choose. A Democrat's going to choose someone who's more in line with
their views,
right?
Like, this is just another thing. Like, you got to pick the people that are best for the job. Like, put aside the sides of things. Like,
in theory, any lawyer or like judge shouldn't have a leaning, right? But they have opinions because they're human beings, right? So I think that's where a lot of this comes from. I think if you ask most federal prosecutors, I was appointed by a Democrat, but I've been a lifelong Republican. So there's plenty of people like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like you can. I don't agree with like basing a person off their party, off their political party, because you can agree with more like pro con list. It just happens you have to more on a Republican, or it happens you have more on a Democrat. But like for me, objectively speaking, like I can't speak for anybody else, but if I thought that there was two people running and I thought the Republican was the better option, I'm not going to just not vote for them just because I technically am Democrat.
Right. It would be stupid to be like. So when Barack
I feel
Obama,
like I stand like in the middle. Like I'm not really a party person. I'm a whoever I think is right for the job person.
One thing Barack Obama did when he was elected was his first Secretary of Defense was a holdover from George Bush's.
So he didn't even pick someone new.
He didn't pick someone new. He picked the Republican who was there before, who did not like him.
But if he's good at his
job, did not like him at all, and was like, "Well,
professional.
We're going to keep that continuity at the top." So it happens all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's honestly, it's the way to do things, because a lot of change is like a big disruption in the flow of how things happen. So like if you can make small changes that doesn't disrupt the overall flow, you're going to have a much easier time. Right. And that's just the case for any business, but
for a prosecutor, like there's no like Republican or Democratic way to like win a case. Like you just win a case. You can't be
like that. Yeah.
It's just you just do the law. Right. You execute the law.
Yeah. It's just evidence.
It shouldn't be partisan. But
I agree.
But by trying to put someone who they're friends with in that position, I mean it's so blatantly corrupt that they couldn't do it because they made such a stink about it.
It's so corrupt though that I'm just so surprised it's even an option. Like that could become such a problem if it's you have the wrong people in charge, which we do.
Especially when the president is been a lifetime New Yorker, so like all his taxes are in New York,
and probably in that district. If Jeffrey Epstein's in that district, Trump probably lived in that district. It's like the richest part.
I think it's like all of Manhattan and some of the
so it's like of course you want someone that investigating your shit. Like of course you do.
It's like if I could hire the district attorney for the the city or the town of South Hadley, Massachusetts.
Right.
It's like
It's like you putting your friends in charge, knowing that they'll never do anything against you. Like that's not you. There always has to be someone holding someone else accountable. Right. Like there can't be this overall hierarchy.
That's how it should be. It should be completely. The Attorney General should, of the United States, of the entire system, should be. He's not like working for the president. He's working for justice across. He leads the Justice Department. So, like, if you're going to execute justice implies fairness. You should not, no matter who you are, you should not be Republican or Democrat. You should not be, like, favoring one side.
No, if I was ever on a case and they were like, oh, by the way, they're Republican, that wouldn't make me be like, oh, guilty.
Yeah. The day that the Justice Department becomes a partisan institution. We're effectively lost. No longer a functioning democracy. No. People would argue now that we're like losing our functional democracy. A little bit. That's like a true telltale sign.
The problem with that I have with us calling it a democracy is that it's not the popular vote.
Right. We're a democratic republic.
The democracy would be the popular vote winning, but like no, you're giving power to, like the podcast said today, white men in white states to have more power than others.
Looking at you, Wisconsin.
Yeah, but it's true. It's like, what the fuck?
Iowa.
Why aren't we all treated the same?
Right.
It's another form of injustice. Like, we don't even get... Like, we live in Massachusetts, a very liberal... Well, we're from originally Massachusetts, which is very liberal, but, like, those votes barely count.
Right. Like, the state's solidly going to be Democratic probably forever.
Right.
Barring,
a huge change.
A massive poisoning at every Whole Foods.
Yeah, like most at every Whole Foods or Starbucks. Most people in Massachusetts are on the same page. Most, not all.
Yeah, not all.
A lot of people our age, mostly Democrat. But it's unfair that, like, those votes don't have the same weight as
someone in Florida or wherever.
The good thing about us living in Virginia now is we actually do hold a little bit more.
It's a closer
and
state.
we're a what is it? A swing state? They say.
It's not one of the big.
It's getting there though.
It's on the verge of.
Because Virginia is gentrifying. Is that the right word? It's a lot of young people coming. Amazon's coming here. There's a lot of things. Like, I think a lot of people our age have moved here.
I think we could do a good bonus pod about the Electoral College.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good bonus pod.
But I think, like, with the younger people comes a more democratic view, and then that will swing the votes of what the state comes. But honestly, I was shocked that Massachusetts voted Biden when that came out, and not Bernie Sanders. Yeah. But, like I always say, Biden is, what did they said it perfect on the podcast we were listening to. He was like, he's left of the right wing or something like that.
He's always going to find, like, just left of center.
Yeah, to be, like, the option for Republicans.
Right, to be in the middle of the Democratic Party.
Right. Like, he looks like a Republican, but then, like, doesn't have, like, has more relaxed views like a Democrat.
Yeah.
So he's, like, the safest option for people that are, like, not Democrats, but are smart enough to realize that Trump is literally
a psychopath, yes,
putting this country into turmoil.
So yeah, it's an interesting story. We'll see how it develops further.
It's a pretty fucked up story that he just gets fired for no reason. I don't understand how that, unless there's, like, in the contract, it's like at any time you can be fired. This guy needs to hire a lawyer and be like, there was no reason for me to be fired except for the fact that I'm looking into them.
The president can remove like any cabinet position, anything in the executive branch. He can put people he wants as long as they're confirmed wherever
that
they can go.
Needs to change. That's so crazy.
Right, but, like, it doesn't make it less corrupt. Like, there's no reason. This is just a corrupt thing he's doing to protect himself and
on top of a bunch of other corrupt things that we've mentioned. There's
the reason I like these stories. Well, I don't like these stories, but I like talking about these stories. Is because there's so much. You know, like coronavirus, all these protests.
I would never have heard about this.
Right, there's a million things going on, but every day there's, like, a little, you know,
little trail of light,
little trail of candy leading to a corrupt, you know, Hansel and Gretel thing in that woods.
Yep. So. Yep. Like, what did we talk about last week? Like, the guy that got the other guy fired. Remember, he was like, "Hey, fire this guy because." Someone told Trump to fire someone because he was looking. It was an investigation. It was like the same exact situation.
The inspector. Yes, the inspector general. Yes.
Yeah, it was like it's the same thing. It's just like you firing people that are looking into you because you're corrupt, and then putting someone else in that you know won't look into you, just so you can continue being corrupt.
It's like if you were accused of murder and, like, you could change who the judge and jury was.
Yeah, it's like you have committed a crime and then you put your best friends on the jury.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense that that's allowed.
Yeah. Ugh. So. Anyways.
So stupid. Okay, all three of my stories are, like, just bad news, so I'm sorry. But that's the world we live in right now. Jimmy Kimmel is taking a break from the late night show he does. Originally, the story was that he was just taking a break for the summer. He's going to hang out with his family. Nothing's wrong. Yeah. And then it came out today that he's taking a break because his blackface clips from, like, a 94 or late 90s The Man Show on Comedy Central. He dressed in blackface. He was dressed up as NBA star Karl Malone. And people are calling for an apology, and instead of apologizing, he's taking a break.
Yeah. I'm looking at it now.
It's pretty bad.
I mean, yeah, it's blackface. Like, was
like
it
his
from
whole head.
Was it from 94, you said?
It listed 94 to 2004, that, like, maybe he
the
was
show.
the
I think
show.
the show was on for that time. Yeah.
But the skit was, I think, late 90s or mid 90s. But either way, it's blackface, like, through and through.
Yeah,
And instead of apologizing, though, he is just...
I'm sure at some point he's going to put out some sort
Unless he already has, if this has already been surfaced once in the past, and it's just coming back.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never seen it before.
The story is getting into we're judging you based off 98, whenever Karl Malone was in the NBA in the late 90s.
Yeah, so
like
I think
the early to the late 90s,
right.
So...
I mean, I don't agree with, like, canceling someone on something that they did in the 90s before it was even, like, considered bad. Like, this was on Comedy Central. Like, this was airing on TV. Like, clearly it wasn't...
Honestly, a really funny show.
But clearly it wasn't that much of a shocking, horrible thing if you're going to put it on national television. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, I don't think it's, to cancel him, but to just not I'd be like... I understand how awful this video is. If I could go back in time and never do it, like, believe me, I would. But I can't. So, like, all I can do is apologize for it. I'm not trying to cancel Jimmy Kimmel, but, like, to not say anything.
Right, to not say
not
anything
the right
would be
move.
So fucking tone deaf.
It's not the right move. This just happened to Fallon, like, 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And he released a statement being like, you know, I'm ashamed of this. I am not, like, this is not something I support.
It does look kind of funny as Karl Malone.
It's not the point, though.
Like,
the point is that, like, and I've said it before, like, you don't need to paint your face to dress up as someone. Never in my life have I ever tried to do that. Like, I don't understand that. I've been Pocahontas, like, 100 times when I was little. Never once did I, like, try to make my skin tan.
Again, this is... I hate to be that guy who's like, cancel culture ruins everything. Because I'm not that guy. Like, people need to get called out for doing stupid shit. But, like...
But doing from, like, literally 20 years ago?
20 years ago?
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to be that... Like, okay, yes, he shouldn't have done it.
But, like, it's not like he's doing it again.
Hindsight's 20/20. He didn't do it last week.
Right.
You know?
No. I agree. I'm not trying to cancel him. I think an apology is all you can do.
Right.
But I get it in the sense of, like, the Kevin Hart thing with the, like...
The homophobic.
Homophobic, yeah, that's right. I couldn't think of the word. I get him being like, I am sorry, but I'm, like, you can't keep harassing me about this. Like, I have said I'm sorry, I am sorry, I've never done it again.
Right.
But, like, you need to accept that apology, or you need to just...
Like, go on.
Never watch me again. Like, that's, like, the two options. I don't agree with canceling, like, if you're not a murderer and you've learned from your mistakes and it's not like, oh, I've learned, and then, like, doing it again. Like, if you've actually never done it again, like, I think that's fine. Like, we've all learned and grown.
Like, everyone's, you know, like, the internet people are going to get up in arms at this. But, like, does anyone actually think Jimmy Kimmel's a racist person? You know what I mean?
Right. I would care more about how he's actually treating people in real life. Like, if stories were coming out like, oh, this guy, like racial slurs and all that, I'd be like, fuck that. Well, cancel Jimmy Kimmel. You know what I mean? But, like, if it was a skit that he was told to do by his producers and makeup artists he didn't do this himself. Like, it takes an army to get this done. You know what I mean? Like, it was a TV show.
Do you think when the Fallon stuff came out, do you think he should have, like... I mean, who knows if he even remembered he did this 20 years ago? Because the man show was on forever. Like, that was a long-ass show.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, if he knew about this, he should have been just like, fuck, I should probably just be like, hey, I dressed up as Karl Malone 20 years ago? Like, do you think people should be going back through their body of work and being, like, proactively like, hey...
I think, like...
Don't cancel me
I think
on
if
this.
you're a celebrity or if you're a rising celebrity, you 100% should go through, like, your Twitter, your Instagram... Tumblr, whatever it is that you fucking have, like, absolutely, like, make sure you
get ahead of it.
Get ahead of it, like, just scrub it if you have to. It's like, I mean, if you have those views today, it's gonna come out. You're not gonna be able to hide who you are forever. But if you're not that person and you're, like, embarrassed to even see some of this stuff, then, like, yeah, I think you have the right to delete it. But, like, a skit like that, like, someone's gonna find it on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, That's the only problem with that. I think if he knew it was out there, if it was, like, even on his mind when the stuff with Jimmy Fallon came out, I think he should have
been like, hey,
kind of made a statement in defense, being like, I understand. I've been in this position. I actually did this. You know what I mean?
And like,
you could have gotten ahead of it that way. But honestly, I don't even think that they have. I mean, they have PR teams. Like, who knows what control they actually have over what goes out? But I think he should have. I mean, if I were a big time celebrity like them, I'd hire an intern to like scrub my old shit and be like, anything you think it looks questionable, anything that makes you think, like, delete it. You know?
Yeah, that's...
Like, anything that, like, if you have to say, like, is it racist? Like, it's racist. Delete it. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know when something's not racist. Like, I don't know.
No, that's true.
And I just think it's smarter. Like, we've all been stupid kids, and I'm not going to judge someone off what they did at 16 or 20 years ago when times were very, very different. I'm very aware that times were different. I used to say things that I would never say today, and if that was held against me, I'd be like, well, shit, like, I don't know what to tell you, but I've never done it again, you know?
Right.
And we're not perfect. We say stupid things sometimes, and it's unfortunate that kids our age who grew up with social media at a young age, like, you're going to have some stupid shit on there, and it's unfortunate, but that's what happens when you give a phone to a 13-year-old.
Yeah, no. Do you think, what, ABC? Is it ABC, right?
What?
That he's on? I think he's on ABC.
Maybe. I don't really know the networks, to be honest.
Do you think they would fire him for this? Jimmy
No, he's a cash cow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he'll be fired.
No, he won't be canceled for this. It's too
lucrative.
It's too lucrative, and it's... People aren't calling for his head.
Yeah.
It's just another thing to be like, look what you did. You know, apologize.
Right. Make us feel better by yelling at you.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. But, you know, I think people have learned the lesson. I don't really think anybody's dressing in blackface today. That's progress.
Yeah.
Like, are we really going to be mad about if we're going to be mad about things that happened in the 90s, like, you're picking the wrong things. You know how much shit happened in the 90s? Like, let's be mad about something that actually matters.
Yeah.
There's
so many bigger issues.
There's so many bigger issues. Like, this literally doesn't even top the charts.
Like, actual institutional racism.
Right.
Is way more important than Jimmy Kimmel dressing up as Karl Malone.
Which I'm sure, like, people thought was funny in 1996 or whatever it was, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right. It's definitely a weird thing, and it's definitely something that's never crossed my mind, but maybe I just grew up in a different generation. I've never once thought I needed to paint my body a different color to be like someone for Halloween or something. Like, never once.
Like,
but
I'm trying to think of things I've been for Halloween that were characters. Like, the Red Power Ranger was always white. Like, I never
painted your body white.
I wore the outfit. You know, I wasn't like, I need to have my hands be white.
No,
to be the
and
Red
never.
Power
And that's
Ranger.
the thing that I think is so weird. Like, why was that even a thing? Like, I don't know. Like, I've been Pocahontas. I just wore the outfit. I've been Esmeralda. I just wore the outfit. But even Pocahontas as a costume might be appropriation at this point in time.
Yeah, that's like Dangerville.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. I fucking love that movie.
You better scrub your fucking socials for Pocahontas pics.
I was like 4. I loved her.
No. But yeah, no, that's interesting.
It's a thing. It's happening. I think it's interesting that he's just being like, everything's fine. I'm just taking a break. I'm
that
like,
was
no.
kind of shitty, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Come on, Jimmy.
No, we know why you're taking a break, and
Don't
it's just because you don't want to answer to it.
Don't be a shithead.
I do hope that they have good guest stars, though. Guest hosts.
Maybe there's a young black comedian out there.
I mean, I hope he has black guest hosts. Like, that would just be tone deaf if they're all white. I'd be like, are you fucking kidding?
Yeah, you are not reading the moment well.
No.
At all.
But I also don't want, like, black people to feel like we're just throwing you a bone.
Yeah,
like, oh, sure, come on our show, because it's like this
Don't pull
movement.
a Bachelor either.
Yeah, like, don't do it fake, but, like, do it because these people deserve to have their voices heard.
Right. Yeah, no, that's an very interesting development on that story.
Yeah, because, like, literally yesterday it was just like, oh, Jimmy Kimmel's just taking a break. And then I saw it this morning, like, literally 5 a.m, Daily Mail was like, Jimmy Kimmel's taking a break because his old videos of blackface resurfaced. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. We'll have to watch this skit after.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right, what you got?
Next story. This is kind of an update on a previous story. We're going back to India, China, and the Himalayas.
Yep.
So the
Great Border Control on the Himalayas.
Yep. Very exciting. They being the Indian Army and the Chinese Army got into a brawl like they had before, But this time, at least 20 Indian soldiers are dead, and they think about 20 to 40 Chinese soldiers were also killed.
Oh, see, yesterday I thought that the Chinese were winning this, but now maybe it...
We don't... The Chinese never publicize how many people died.
Of course not.
Yeah, they're gonna...
No one died. They're all fine.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is really ramping up at an interesting...
Can I ask a stupid question?
No, go ahead.
How do we get this info if they're, like, not honest?
The Indian army reported this.
Oh, the Chinese army did not.
The Chinese government has... I don't even know if they've said it. I'm not sure what they've said about what
Gotcha.
happened.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, publicly...
And we just have access to, like, Indian news, like, online?
Yeah, India's actually the largest democracy in the world.
Awesome.
So... You know, they have an open society similar to ours.
That'd be a cool place to visit.
It would be pretty cool. The Chinese foreign minister and India's foreign minister have been, like, discussing this together, obviously, so...
Do they have good relationships?
Not really, because they...
Right.
China and Pakistan have a close relationship.
And
India
and
Pakistan do not like each other.
Yeah, they're not.
So that's kind of a tension point. The border is a tension point. They fought wars over this border before, so...
The problem I have with, like, the border, and, like, I was saying this yesterday, it's, like, how many people are trying to cross through, like, the mountains?
Right.
And, like, how necessary is it for, like, tensions to be this high on the most dangerous spot you can be?
I think the average elevation in this area is, like... 10,000 to 12,000 feet.
Which is, like, hard to breathe.
That's very, like, just being stationed there must be god-awful.
And it's like, how are you fighting? Like, where are you getting this oxygen to even, like, move your muscles? Like, shouldn't you be saving it?
They must do, like, a ton of training to even be able to get up there. And then they must have to, like, slowly work their way up.
But you were saying a lot of people died solely because they can't get, like, medical help. They're in such a tough spot.
So what happened was they were fighting with, like... They were throwing stones at each other, hitting each other with sticks, with, like nails.
So, like, Viking shit.
Right. They weren't shooting at each other, which is good, because then things escalate quicker.
That's, like, war, yeah.
That's, like, legitimate. You're legitimately fighting a war against a foreign country. Right.
They're so like, we're just, like, throwing shit at each other like children.
Pushing each other, punching each other.
But you're on a mountain.
Right. A couple people fell off cliffs, and that's how they died. Some died because they couldn't get medical attention in time because they were so high in altitude.
Right. Or I'm sure, like, bleeding out and not being able to breathe, like, normal. It's
right,
just
exactly.
Strain on the body when you don't
Going
need
into
it.
shock, you need extra oxygen. There's less oxygen in the air.
Yeah. I'm sure you just die faster, kind of. But what I was saying yesterday is, like, wouldn't it benefit everyone for these what are they, foreign ministers? Is that what you call them?
Yeah.
To come up with a actual, like, peaceful treaty line.
Right.
Like, you're at this point, like, things can't keep going the way they're going, or you're going to actually end up being at war. So you need to find a treaty.
What they need is an actual border. What they have is called a line of actual control.
Because they couldn't decide an actual border.
They couldn't agree on a border.
So, like, this isn't working anymore. So how about, like, wherever sides we're on now, make that the border. Like, and then everybody can go home.
Right. But then, you know, one side's going to say, well, there's mineral XYZ
Oh, right.
there.
That was what I was saying. I was saying, what is in these mountains that they want so much control over?
Right. And then I said, I'm not 100% sure, but I think there might be, like, rare minerals.
There has to be something, because otherwise I'd be like, peace, go home. Like, why are you on a mountain? Like, I don't have time for that.
And I think a lot of rivers that run through the area start in the Himalayas.
I just feel like there must be a way to evenly divide. There has to be.
Yeah, but that would be way too rational for people.
But it's like, at some point, don't you have to be like, I'm just sick of this fucking bullshit. Like, let's just make the fucking border, make the treaty, and call it a day.
Right. But now, the problem is now, like, national pride is on the line.
See, this is the thing. Like, you need... If this had been done years ago, like, these lives, you know what I mean, would have been spared.
No, for sure.
And it's like, at some point, you need to put that pride aside and just decide what's going to be best for the future. If people are mad at you right now, okay, but if their kids don't have to die falling off cliffs because you two can't get along, like, then maybe it's better. Like, what's the saying, like... kill one to save thousands or something.
Yeah. The only positive of this story is, like, it hasn't escalated yet, even though there's reports of a lot of movement of like heavy military equipment, like talking like tanks and like artillery pieces.
Yeah, but you're saying it could just be like a show, like
right. I don't think that's neither of these countries wants to do this right now, especially with coronavirus going around. Like, there's much bigger fish to fry for both of them.
Yeah.
So I don't think. Hopefully, this is kind of the point where people go, okay, we need to like actually come up with a solid plan.
Yeah, like we don't have to like each other, but we do have to get along.
Right. We at least need to agree on a border, so then we don't. So when someone does go across it.
Yeah, because then they can be like walking and be like, well, there's no actual border.
Exactly, right.
Oh, I can just imagine it. It's such like a childish thing, but...
Yeah. But
Silliness.
Hopefully it won't progress to anything more.
Yeah.
You know, this could be something that starts a peace process. You never know. People
Hopefully.
could be,
I think it's a good opportunity.
Right.
If
There's
there
no
ever
better
was one.
there's no better time to like, okay, we need to cool these heads down. But the problem is now, there's a lot of families on both sides. Probably, we don't know about the Chinese side, but at least the Indian side.
Who are going to have questions.
Who are like, why is my son or father, husband, et cetera, dead?
Yeah.
And what are you...
For what fucking reason?
Right.
Yeah.
What are you, the Indian government, going to do about it?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, they might see themselves in a protest movement.
Yeah. And even the ruling political party right now in India is more nationalist, or we would say patriotic.
Yeah.
You know, so like this is something they kind of have to respond to. So there's...
Patriotism is good for a country until it's like demanding violence.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yes. But yeah, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
But yeah. What was your next one?
Chris D'Elia has come under hot water.
Chris D'Elia.
For alleged...
What's his name in You again?
Predatory behavior. Oh, I don't know. I don't remember his name in You.
I want to say Kennedy, but it's not Kennedy.
No, but
anyways, not important.
He has come under fire for a couple girls coming out saying that he was pretty much like trying to hook up with them when they were underage.
Mm-hmm.
The first girl that took to Twitter, her name is Simone Rossi. She posted alleged screenshots of DMs between her and D'Elia back when she was only 16, and he was in his early 30s. She explains like her shock, and like the reason she came out was because she was shocked to see him playing essentially a pedophile on TV, and like she was like, the fucking irony of it all. Like, I just couldn't not say something, which is totally agreeable.
Right.
His name in You is Henderson.
Henderson. I knew it was like one name.
Yeah. So he, like, in her messages, I think, like, the only thing that the article has stated he said was, like, do you want to make out? And she states that, like, the only reason they never met up is because she ended up getting a boyfriend her own age. So, like, had she not, like, who knows what would have happened. But at the same time, like, nothing did happen physically, anyway.
Right.
And then the second girl that came out, her name is Abby Grills. She posted similar screenshots of DMs with D'Elia from 2011. She said that she was 17. I'm just going to read. So in the screenshots, D'Elia allegedly wrote, "Give me your number again." Grills said, "You're insistent. Why?" And he said, "Because I like you, duh. And plus, you know you kind of like it. So what is it?" And she said, "Sorry, I mean, you're 30 and all." And then and like a little statement she said in the article, like, she was like, after all these years, like, I always gave him the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe he didn't know I was 17, but like rereading the messages, like, I said it a couple times. And the messages that I saw, like, she doesn't say her age.
Right,
she
but
says that you're
30.
Like, which you can assume that she's younger from like a message from that. But I didn't see any that said she was 17, but whatever. If there's proof, there's proof. I just didn't read it.
Yeah, we don't, yeah.
And then D'Elia did respond. He has denied that he's preyed on underage girls. His statement is, in quotes, "I know I have said and done things that might have offended people during my career, but I have never knowingly pursued any underage woman at any point. All of my relationships have been both legal and consensual, and I never met or exchanged any inappropriate photos with the people who have tweeted about me." That being said, I'm really am truly sorry. I was a dumb guy who absolutely let myself get caught up in the lifestyle. That is my fault. I own it. I've been reflecting on this for some time now, and I promise I will continue to do better. Yeah.
When were these
I mean, the
conversations, or whatever, when was all this happening? Like years ago, or is it?
The first girl, or the second girl, Grills, she said it was 2011.
Okay.
I don't know when the other girl, but
girl
she said he was in his 30s. I don't know.
He's like, what, 40 now?
Yeah, I would assume that they're probably
At
around the same time.
Yeah.
But like we were saying last night, like he could have technically known that they were underage, but not like confirmed. You know, there's a lot of ways to claim ignorance with things like that.
You never ask your age, you never know.
Then you never know. Yeah. And I think that if you're a rising star, if he's not like super well known, but he's well known like for the people that know him, he might have a little bit of an ego, thinking he can just like talk to girls and that everybody wants him. Like the girl with him being like, you know, you like it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, that's definitely like a douchey. If someone was like, why are you like pretending like you don't want to give me your number? You know you do. I would be like, block. Like I'm never fucking talking to you again. Yeah. I just don't like that cockiness, but like that's clearly what it is. But neither girls say that anything actually physically happened. So he might have just been like that guy that just like likes to DM
shoots his shot.
Yeah, like DM a bunch of girls and fucking see where it goes. But I don't know. We'll see if other girls have similar stories. These stories are very similar. So I don't know if he was just like,
if it's true, right? Well, like let's hypothetically say it is true that all this actually happened. He knew they were underage, whatever. Why in God's green earth would you fucking play the exact same person?
Unless you don't see yourself as a pedophile.
Right, like that's why I think he doesn't.
Like to me, I know that like obviously 16 and 17 is underage. Like I'm aware. But to me a pedophile is like younger than that. Like 16, 17, like your body's not changing too much more than that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so like,
yes.
So like to me, it's like I can see it a little bit more of thinking like you could get away with thinking they're older. We were discussing yesterday, like the girls on TikTok are like 16 and I think they're older than me. And then when we were at dinner yesterday, like there was girls like walking down the beach and Andrew was like, how old do you think they are? I'm like, honestly, I don't fucking know. They could be like 16 or they could be like 25.
Right.
Like, how can you even tell anymore? Like, I don't know. So, like, I could be, like, I get ID'd sometimes when I would, like, buy a lighter. I'm like, I'm clearly over 18, but, like, so, you can't really tell.
Yeah. I know nothing about technology and, like, creating technology, but they need, like, a digital driver's license kind of thing. Like, that just, like, pops
this
up. Girl is 15.
Yeah.
There is no denying.
That's like a dystopian society, though, if you have, like, a marking for your age. Like, I don't think we can do that to people.
Right. You can't front on your Instagram how old you are. Like, it's for
But that's the thing. Like, if you're only if he's DMing these girls, he only knows them online. And, like, girls can look older online for sure.
Right.
So, I don't know. I can see the problem with this. If he really did know that they were underage, like, that's just fucking weird. Like, grow up, dude. Like, you're 30. These kids are, these are kids.
Why would you,
I don't even see why would you even want to?
What the fuck are you going to talk about?
No, I think it's just, like, an older guy just likes, like, the naivety of, like...
Right. Like,
but, like, you're gross. Like, that's weird.
You want to drink fucking apple teas? Like,
you can't even drink. Weird. Like, you're in high school. You have homework tonight?
Yeah,
like, it's fucking weird. People are weird. Guys are weird.
Guys are weird.
Yeah.
This reminds me of a certain person that we both knew in college who will not be named here. He never... His philosophy on getting tested for STIs was, if I never get tested, I never know the answer.
So it doesn't exist.
It's like ignorance is bliss. I don't want to know what your actual age is. I just won't ask it.
Yeah. That's what I think a lot of these situations are, is that, like, the girls probably hint and make it pretty obvious that they're young, but unless you're fucking blatantly showing your ID and being like, I am fucking 16, like, guys are going to pretend they don't know.
Yeah. Guys are gross.
Gross.
Not me, though. I'm a good guy.
The best.
Right? All right. Well, for my final story, we're going back to North Korea.
All right.
That nice little piece of utopia.
My favorite man, KJU.
KJU. All right.
Remember when we thought he was dead?
Yeah, that was fun.
Good times.
Good times. Things have gotten worse.
Yeah.
So this story kind of blew up last week, early in the week. So what happened was some activists in South Korea put together leaflets against the Kim regime, put them onto giant balloons, and then launched them and let the natural airflow take them into North Korea.
So all these people in North Korea who literally know nothing but what the government tells them,
right?
Because they have access to nothing, wake up with these little booklets in their
they're propaganda leaflets
saying your president's a fucking dickbag.
Right. Chairman Kim is corrupt and blah blah blah. blah
Imagine their worlds are turning upside down.
Right, the people who got, we don't know how many people got access to them, but
before the government came sweeping through,
right. Yeah. I'm sure they're probably going to beat the shit out of anyone who read them and said, "Don't you mention any of this to anyone."
I'm sure that they saw these balloons, they must have surveillance in the air. I feel like he's so paranoid that.
Without knowing what kind of balloon it is, if it's high enough, it's going to be over clouds, so you might not.
Yeah, I'm what are you going to chase every balloon that floats into your country?
You're going to shoot the only thing you'd really do is shoot an anti-aircraft gun at it and try and hit it and maybe pop it.
And that's a waste.
But that's even if you see it.
That's
in the
true.
First place. If they do it
it's
at
very
night,
inconspicuous, but now they can never do that again, which is unfortunate.
Well, if they do it at nighttime,
you can't really
even
tell.
with night vision goggles, it'd be pretty hard to see something like that. It's not like an airplane.
They'd end up being shooting every animal
right, they would just
that
be
flies
shooting
by.
Randomly. Yeah. So it's a pretty smart idea.
No, it's hilarious.
A lot of these the people and the activists in South Korea are people who defected from the North at one point.
Yeah, got out.
People who got out and are trying to educate people in the North.
And help, yeah.
It's
so crazy. Right. What a crazy world.
This obviously pissed off North Korea.
Oh yeah, KJU is not happy.
KJU is not happy, especially after everything we talked about in the first episode.
Yeah.
Where, there's stability questions because he was sick or whatever happened.
Right, the country's already on rocky territory for him.
Right.
And there's nothing he hates more than not feeling safety in his position.
Right. So their response was they demolished it's called the Inter-Korean Liaison Office, which is located in the city of Kaesong, which
and it was a peaceful spot for both countries.
It was a place for both of them to meet and discuss things, which is good because technically they're still at war.
Yeah.
They never signed a peace treaty, so they're technically.
And now he got mad and was take down the building. We're not friends.
It's very dramatic. It's a very symbolic and dramatic message that, that's not accepted.
So crazy.
Also now the North Korean state media put out reports that motivated citizens have put together their own leaflets to put on balloons and fly to South Korea. That's bullshit. These aren't normal people doing this on their own volition.
No.
This is just their
government
intelligence agencies doing this. So yeah, it's very interesting.
So silly.
Kind of a weird, balloons going
It's
back
kind
and
of
forth.
but in a way, it's kind of beating him down. He was obviously sick, so that takes a while. If he actually got heart surgery, he needs to be taking it easy,
Right, yeah. He had
stress on him is probably not good.
If he appears weak, he can't afford to appear weak because if he appears weak, people that are against him within his own government are going to try and replace him.
But I get why they're doing it now because he is his weakest right now.
Right. And that's why you don't base your entire government off a family or one person.
Right. But that's crazy. I mean,
that's pretty interesting.
I think it's crazy that we'll probably live through his demise. Because, if you're getting open heart surgery at what is he, 40?
I think he's 35, 36.
If you're getting, he has gout. You're not living very long.
He's not very healthy.
You're not going to make it. Eats like an asshole.
Yeah, he needs. We are not fat shaming.
He needs some Weight Watchers.
We are not fat shaming.
No, but he's just he's unhealthy guy.
And
it's not about his weight. It's just unhealthy, all around. His weight just happens to not be helping him either.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. What do you got for your last one?
Last one is that Danny Masterson has been charged with raping 3 women from 2001 to 2003. Danny Masterson is best known as Hyde on That 70s Show. He lives in Eric Foreman's basement.
Also, Rooster on the ranch.
Rooster on the ranch, no longer.
No more. He's gone.
Yeah, so he is, what does it say? He is being charged with 3 counts of rape by force or fear, according to the LA County District Attorney's Office. One is for raping a 23-year-old woman in 2001's winter. One is for raping a 28-year-old woman in the spring of 2003. And the other is for raping a 23-year-old woman in the fall of 2003. All 3 of those incidents are said to have taken place at Masterson's Hollywood Hills home. There were 2 other people who had put, like, requests for charges. One of those people, there wasn't enough evidence, so that didn't get charged. And the other was...
Past the statute of
limitations.
Right? Yep.
Yeah. So it was 5. He's only getting charged for 3. If he gets convicted, he faces up to 45 years in prison, which for him would be a life sentence. He's already in his 40s, and he's due in court in September. So, I mean, if I had, like, a court date that's going to determine, like, if I live the rest of my life in jail, like, I think I just want to get it over with.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I'm not like thinking
like
about it.
Like, you can't enjoy the summer if you know that you could be facing jail time. But, yeah. I mean, if he did it, you did it. Like,
yeah, I mean, he did.
But, like, the thing that I mean, like, they clearly were at his house. Like, you've gotten that far. You know what I mean? You're at his house. And it's like, why do people think that if a girl's at your house, it means she wants to sleep with you? Because, like, it doesn't. You know what I mean?
Dumb dude brains.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's not good for him. I feel bad. Like I was saying yesterday, I feel bad for his friends. Like, he's really good friends with Ashton Kutcher, who is a very woke celebrity.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that it's a very tough position to be in, finding out that one of your best friends, like a person you love,
someone who's like tied to your biggest, like I feel like Ashton Kutcher's biggest
the reason
stories.
That you're famous, like you brought him on a new show that you produced because you're that good of friends. Like, you find out this story, it's like, how do you disassociate?
They're forever associated together because of their work together.
Yeah, and then I feel bad for the people that were in that 70s show, because I doubt that they'll play the repeats now, because that's what happened. So, like, all of that royalty, you know, you're not just... No, I know, but, like, you're not just screwing yourself up when you do shit. Like, and I was saying, like, you're hurting the people that love you.
What year did that 70s show start? Like... Was that around the same time all this happened?
Let's see. That 70s show.
Like, I feel like it started in 98. If I
guess. August 23rd, 1998.
So he was already a couple years.
98, 99, 2001, 2, 3. So it was like the 3rd and 5th season. That makes sense. He was probably famous by that point.
That is interesting.
Yeah, it was like the rise of his fame. I'm sure that 70s show was a big show, right? It was popular.
It was pretty popular, yeah.
Like, I used to watch the repeats, but obviously I wasn't watching it when it was on because I was too young.
I remember watching it when it was, like, on TV.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I remember watching it, like, on ABC Family, like, and I think it's a great show. Like, it's obviously funny. It lasts, like, through time. Like, it's a good show, but it's definitely, like, probably when he was getting famous is what I would assume. Like, a couple years into a hit TV show. I think it ran for, like, 5 seasons, right?
I think it was on for a decent amount of time, yeah.
Let's see. How many seasons? I'm Googling everything. That 70s show. Yeah. Oh, there's 8 seasons.
8 seasons.
Holy shit. So, yeah, so if 3 to 5 years is the time period of this, then, like, yeah, that's probably at your height of fame on a show, you know?
Right.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so that's something to follow. We'll find out if he's convicted, but we've seen a lot of people get off from a lot of things. Brock Turner, Jeffrey Epstein.
Not a fan of the pod, Brock Turner or Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens, but very interesting stuff. This story has been out for a while. Like, the allegations came out, I want to be like a year ago.
He charged, though, right?
No, he's charged. Like, he's going to court for those charges.
Right, but that's what happened this week.
He's finally been charged. I think they were gathering evidence for at least a year. So we'll see. Not a good sign.
If you're him.
Not a good sign that it went from 5 to 3. Like, if they have enough evidence to, like, charge you for 3 different people, there's a good chance you're going to get convicted of at least one. And I'm sure their stories are like eerily
eerily
similar.
similar.
Yeah. So that's unfortunate that there's another person out there that likes to take advantage of people and thinks it's normal and that he can get away with it. And I feel bad for the people that care about him, because I would imagine that's a really tough spot and hard to maneuver in your brain on how you can care about someone and know one side of someone and then just kind of be like totally blasted with a whole nother reality.
Yeah. No, that does suck.
So don't do bad things, because it hurts more than
people.
it hurts more than just those people that you're doing it to. It hurts the people that care about you.
Stop.
Just stop.
Imagine being like a famous actor in Hollywood and not being able to get laid without raping someone.
Yeah, you're just a loser.
Like what?
You're just a sad loser. And you will be found, and you will be caught.
We will find you.
And I'm proud of the girls for coming forward after all this time. I imagine it's not easy. And
Yeah,
I
you know what?
imagine
Shout out the victims.
Yeah, and I imagine that you think like no one's
Sorry.
gonna care.
They are survivors.
Survivors, for sure.
Shout them out.
Yeah, I think it's powerful, and I think the more people speak up, the more that other people will speak up, and maybe we'll actually make some headway with men not being able to get away with this anymore.
Yeah, men.
Well, women have raped boys too, so.
Yeah, that's very fucking rare.
But still, don't rape anybody. Keep your hands to yourself. Violence is not the answer. All right. I think that's it.
I think that was a good
Redo?
second take.
Yeah. We had more info this time anyway, so
Yeah.
that was good.
Yeah. Maybe it was a good accident.
Yeah. Accident. I was stressed. Anyway, that's all we got, and we'll have a bonus pod coming out Wednesday.
Why not?
Yeah. For I Am Not Your Negro. So listen to that.
I'm not your what?
Okay. Goodbye.